Welcome to Miss Scarlett. Subscribe and don't miss out on Patreon. Have fun! Coulson stirred in his bed as the first rays of sunlight filtered through the curtains, his mind foggy from a deep sleep that felt unusually heavy. He stretched, expecting the familiar pull of his muscles, but something was off. His arms felt lighter, his chest heavier in a way that didn't make sense. Blinking away the remnants of dreams, he sat up, and a cascade of long, silky hair tumbled over his shoulders, brushing against his skin like a stranger's touch. He froze, his heart pounding as he reached up to grab a handful of it. Soft, wavy strands that reached down his back, far longer than the short crop he'd gone to bed with. Panic surged through him as he threw off the covers and stumbled to the full-length mirror in the corner of his bedroom. The reflection staring back wasn't his. The broad shoulders had narrowed, the angular jaw had softened into gentle curves, and his once flat chest now swelled with feminine contours that made his breath catch. She lifted a hand to her face, tracing the high cheekbones, the fuller lips, the delicate arch of her eyebrows. Her eyes, still the same hazel hue, widened in horror as she took in the rest. Hips that flared out, a waist that dipped in, and legs that seemed longer, more graceful. Overnight, inexplicably, her body had transformed from masculine to feminine, every inch altered in ways that defied logic or science. She backed away from the mirror, her mind racing. How could this happen? Was it a dream? She pinched her arm, feeling the sharp sting, confirming it was real. Memories flooded back, going to bed as Coulson after a mundane day at the office. No strange foods, no accidents, nothing out of the ordinary. Yet here she was, in a body that felt both alien and intimately her own. She paced the room, her bare feet padding softly on the carpet, trying to steady her breathing. The apartment looked the same, the cluttered desk with work papers, the half-empty coffee mug from last night. But when she glanced at her closet, something new caught her eye. Doors slightly ajar, revealing garments that hadn't been there before. Dresses, blouses, skirts in soft pastels and florals, nothing like the suits and jeans she'd owned. Curiosity mixed with desperation drew her closer. She rifled through the hangers, fabrics whispering against her fingers. A pink sundress caught her attention, light and airy with thin straps and a hem that would fall just above the knees. Beside it, a white cardigan, knitted softly, perfect for layering. These clothes weren't hers, or Coulson's, but they fit the body she now inhabited. With no other options, and the need to face the day pressing on her, she slipped into the sundress. The material hugged her new curves gently, the color bringing a flush to her cheeks as she adjusted the straps. She added the cardigan, its sleeves providing a sense of coverage, and stepped back to the mirror. The woman looking back seemed put together, almost natural, but inside, turmoil churned. She needed answers, but first she had to venture out. Grabbing her keys and wallet, strangely, her ID now bore the name Stephanie and a photo that matched her current face. She headed to the door. The hallway of her apartment building felt different. Her steps were lighter, the sway of her hips unfamiliar. Outside, the morning air was crisp, and she walked to the nearby coffee shop, a routine spot where the barista knew Coulson by name. As she entered, the bell jingled, and the familiar face behind the counter smiled warmly. "Morning, Stephanie. The usual latte? She hesitated, her voice coming out softer, higher pitched than before. Yes, please. The barista didn't blink, didn't question. It was as if Stephanie had always been the regular, not Coulson. She paid and took her drink, sipping it on the way to work, her mind whirling. At the office building, she swiped her badge, now reading Stephanie, and rode the elevator up. Colleagues nodded in greeting, one even complimenting her sundress. "Looking great today, Steph! That pink really suits you." In her cubicle, everything was adjusted subtly. Photos on the desk showed her as Stephanie at company events. Emails addressed her by the new name. She sat down, staring at the screen, pretending to work while her thoughts spun. Lunchtime brought more interactions. Her friend Mark from accounting invited her to join the group at the cafeteria. "Hey, Steph, saved you a seat. How is that project coming along?" They chatted about deadlines and office gossip, treating her as if she'd always been part of the team this way. No one mentioned Coulson. It was like he never existed. As the day wore on, she adapted bit by bit. Walking to meetings, she noticed how people held doors for her, how conversations shifted to lighter topics. In the bathroom, she faced the mirror again, adjusting her cardigan and tucking a strand of hair behind her ear. The reflection was becoming less shocking, more a part of her. Back at her desk, she dove into tasks, her fingers flying over the keyboard with the same efficiency, but now accompanied by the soft rustle of her dress. By afternoon, a client call came in, and she handled it smoothly, her voice steady despite the inner chaos. After work, she met up with her old friend Lisa for their weekly dinner. Lisa hugged her tightly. "Steph, you look amazing! Love the outfit." Over pasta at their favorite Italian place, they laughed about shared memories, but when she subtly probed, mentioning something from Coulson's past, Lisa recalled it as Stephanie's story. It was eerie, this seamless rewrite of reality. Walking home under the streetlights, she pondered it all. Was she the only one who remembered? Had the world changed around her? Or was this some elaborate illusion? The next morning, she woke with the same long hair, the same curves, confirming it wasn't a one-off dream. She chose another outfit from the mysterious closet, a blouse and skirt this time. But the pink sundress lingered in her mind as a starting point. At work, she threw herself into a team presentation, her confidence growing as colleagues praised her insights. "Steph, you're on fire today," her boss said, clapping her on the back lightly. She smiled, feeling a spark of belonging amid the confusion. Days blurred into a routine. She explored her new wardrobe, mixing the white cardigan with different dresses, always feminine, always adapting. Grocery shopping became an adventure. She noticed how aisles felt different, how she reached for lighter items instinctively. At the gym, she joined a yoga class instead of weights, her body moving fluidly in leggings and a top that had appeared alongside the rest. Friends invited her to a book club, where discussions flowed easily, and she shared thoughts on novels she'd read as Coulson, now attributed to Stephanie. One evening, alone in her apartment, she sat on the couch, legs tucked under her sundress, journaling her thoughts. The transformation remained a mystery. No doctors could explain it, as appointments treated her as always female. She wondered about family. A call to her parents revealed they remembered raising a daughter named Stephanie. It was isolating, this secret knowledge, but she pressed on, building a life in this new form. Weeks passed, and she grew more comfortable. A promotion came her way, rewarding her hard work. Celebrating with coworkers at a bar, she sipped a cocktail, laughing at jokes, her cardigan draped over her shoulders. Romantic interests emerged subtly. a colleague's flirtatious smile, a date set up by Lisa. She navigated it carefully, her heart still adjusting. But doubts lingered. Late one night, scrolling through old photos on her phone, now altered to show Stephanie, she found a single anomaly, a blurry image from years ago, faintly showing Coulson's face. Her pulse quickened. Was this a clue? She delved deeper, searching online for similar stories, but found only myths and fiction. The next day, she confided in a therapist who listened empathetically but saw no signs of delusion, affirming her as Stephanie. Social circles expanded. She volunteered at a local charity event, her sundress fluttering in the breeze as she organized booths. Interactions with strangers felt natural now, her feminine presence drawing warm responses. At home, she experimented with makeup, a light touch that enhanced her features, boosting her confidence. A weekend trip with friends to the countryside offered escape. Packing her bag with dresses and the white cardigan, she hiked trails, the fresh air clearing her mind. Around the campfire, stories were shared, and she contributed her own, weaving in elements of her past without revealing the truth. The group treated her as one of them. Always had. Back in the city, work challenges arose. A tight deadline that kept her late. Typing furiously in her cubicle, dress sleeves rolled up, she solved the problem, earning accolades. Personal growth followed. She took up painting, her canvases reflecting inner turmoil in abstract forms. Months in, she attended a family reunion. Aunts and uncles embraced her as Stephanie, sharing anecdotes that matched her memories, but with her as the daughter. It was bittersweet, this acceptance without acknowledgement of change. One rainy afternoon, browsing a bookstore, she stumbled upon a tome on quantum realities. Flipping pages, theories of parallel shifts resonated. Could that explain it? She bought the book, reading late into the night, her long hair tied back, cardigan wrapped around her. Friendships deepened. Lisa became a confidant for everyday woes, never suspecting the deeper secret. Mark from work asked her out, and she agreed to coffee, the conversation flowing effortlessly. She felt a tentative joy in these connections. Yet the question persisted. Why her? In quiet moments, she examined her body again, tracing the curves that had become familiar. The pink sundress hung in the closet, a symbol of her first step. A breakthrough came during a solo walk in the park. Sitting on a bench, watching leaves fall, a stranger approached. An elderly woman with knowing eyes. "You've changed, haven't you?" she said softly. Stephanie's heart raced. "What do you mean?" The woman smiled mysteriously. "Not everyone forgets. There are others like you." Before Stephanie could ask more, the woman handed her a small, ornate key and walked away, vanishing into the crowd. Clutching the key, Stephanie wondered what door it might open, what secrets it held about her transformation. As dusk fell, she headed home, the weight of possibility stirring within her, hinting at revelations yet to come. Venturing further into this new life, Stephanie decided to investigate the key's purpose. She examined it closely under her desk lamp, noting intricate engravings that looked like ancient symbols. Researching online, she found references to lost artifacts tied to myths of bodily shifts, but nothing concrete. The next day, she visited a local antique shop, showing the key to the owner, who eyed it curiously. "This is old. Very old. Might fit a lockbox from the 19th century. There's a collector's fair this weekend. Try there." Excitement built as she attended the fair. dressed in a floral skirt and her white cardigan, weaving through stalls of relics. A vendor with a booth of vintage items recognized the key's style. "Ah, that's for a diary lock, perhaps. I have something similar." He produced a small leather-bound book with a matching keyhole. Heart pounding, she inserted the key. It fit perfectly, turning with a click. Inside the diary were entries from a woman named Eliza, dated over a century ago, describing a similar overnight transformation. "My form altered in the night, from Elias to Eliza," it read. "The world remembers me as her, but I alone carry the truth." Pages detailed her adaptation, the mysterious clothes appearing, the seamless integration into society. Stephanie devoured the words, finding parallels to her own experience. But the diary hinted at more. A society of shifted ones who met in secret, using such artifacts to connect. An address was scrawled in the back, faded but legible, a nondescript building in the city's old quarter. That evening, she made her way there, the key and diary in her bag. The door creaked open to a dimly lit room where a small group gathered. They turned, their faces a mix of curiosity and recognition. "Welcome, sister," one said. "We've been expecting someone like you." As she stepped inside, questions poured out about the cause, the permanence. They shared stories. Some attributed it to curses, others to cosmic anomalies. One member, a poised woman in her 40s, explained, "It's rare, but it happens. The world adjusts, but we remember. You're not alone." Relief washed over her, mingled with intrigue. They invited her to join their meetings, to learn coping strategies, and perhaps uncover reversal methods, though none had succeeded. "Reversal," she echoed, but they shook their heads. "Once shifted, it's forever. But we thrive." Over tea, she bonded with them, sharing her journey from that first morning. Laughter echoed as they compared wardrobe surprises. Leaving with new contacts, she felt empowered. Back home, she reflected, slipping into a nightgown from the closet. The transformation, once a curse, now felt like a path to self-discovery. Work continued to flourish. She led a major project, her ideas shining in meetings, dress swaying as she paced the boardroom. Colleagues admired her poise. Socially, her date with Mark evolved into a budding relationship. Picnics in the park, movies, walks where he held her hand. She opened up about feeling different, without specifics, and he listened supportively. The group meetings became a highlight. At one, they discussed theories, a genetic anomaly triggered by stress or environmental factors. Stephanie contributed, drawing from the diary. One session revealed a lead, an old laboratory in the suburbs, rumored to have experimented with transformative serums decades ago. "If it's connected, we might find answers," the leader said. Intrigued, Stephanie volunteered to investigate. Driving there in her sundress and cardigan, she parked and approached the abandoned building. Peering through dusty windows, she saw remnants of equipment, files scattered. Slipping inside through a loose door, she rifled through papers, finding documents on Project Metamorph, tests on human subjects for gender alteration, abandoned after ethical concerns. One file mentioned unintended permanent changes, with the world forgetting the original forms due to a psychological field effect. Her mind reeled. Was this the source? A noise startled her, a figure in the shadows. "Who's there?" she called. A voice replied, "Someone who knows what you seek." Emerging was a man in a lab coat, elderly but sharp-eyed. I was part of it. The project never fully ended. He explained. Residual effects lingered, activating randomly in descendants or those exposed unknowingly. You're one of them. There's no going back, but I can help you understand why. As they talked, sirens wailed in the distance. Someone had spotted her car. Quick, take this, he said, handing her a vial of shimmering liquid. It might stabilize things or reveal more. Fleeing with the vial, Stephanie raced home, heart thumping. What would it do? Poring over the diary again, she pondered testing it. The next day, at work, distraction plagued her. During a break, she confided in Mark about feeling overwhelmed, and he suggested a getaway. That weekend, they drove to a cabin, her packing feminine attire only. By the lake, they talked deeply, her sharing hints of her past without full disclosure. He confessed his feelings, and she reciprocated, a kiss sealing the moment. Yet, the vial called to her. Back in the city, at a group meeting, she showed it. Debates ensued. Drink it for clarity or destroy it. Choosing to drink a drop, visions flooded. Flashes of a lab, her as Coulson exposed to a spill years ago during a forgotten visit. The transformation delayed, activating now. Clarity came, but with it, a new sensation. Her body tingling as if another change loomed. Rushing to the mirror, she saw her reflection stable, but the tingling persisted. What was happening? The group leader called. There's more to Project Metamorph. It has phases. As the tingling intensified, Stephanie realized this might not be the end, but the beginning of something greater, leaving her on the edge of an unknown threshold. Hope you enjoyed the story so far. The rest will be available on Patreon.